Okay. Can you guys hear me? Drop it in the chat. Tech check. Awesome. I hope you guys are having fun. Today we're going to talk a little bit about financial sense in this session, which I'm excited about. So this session is all going to be about some of the biggest new things we released in financial sense. As you know, we're constantly improving the product, and we thought it might have a session for people that maybe haven't caught some of the new updates, like which of them are really important, what do you need to know. But I also want to spend a good bit of the session talking about what's next, right? Like, what's the vision for financial sense? Where do we plan to take it? Like, where do we want to see it go? Because that's something you guys are all interested in, because you're investing in a practice management tool like this. So I think it'd be cool for you guys to, you can ask questions as well, but if you guys have questions as I'm talking about the new features as well as the vision, like drop them in Q&A and I'll try to get to them. But let's go ahead and get started. So first we're going to talk about what's new, right? So there's a few key features or releases that really stand out to me. And one of the big ones is how we've updated client tasks. So if you're in financial sense, one of the biggest features we have that's really popular is client tasks. It allows you to automate client data collection or get client responses faster. We found like a lot of firms are spending a lot of their time chasing their clients, constantly following up every single week for the same information every single month, right? Over and over again and sending reminders. And it was a big time constraint for them, but also just a very painful part of the process. And this is a feature that we've always had that helps automate that. But we wanted to make it better given how big it was, and it needed some love. So we went back and made some big updates to it. So let me show you some of the new feature updates we've recently made to that in the last 2 months. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to share my window. Okay. So inside Financial Sense, if you don't know what Financial Sense is, it's a practice management tool, right? So the core what we do is help you track the status of work and who's working on what. And that's what you do here. So you have visibility, you know where everything stands. But if you go into a project, this is where the actual work happens. So inside Financial Sense, we used to have the client request in its own separate tab, but now it's in the same view as your internal team task. So again, this is where your team gets their work done. Here you have the tasks that your team members will do, so like your internal checklist and processes for your team to follow. But this is where you can actually request information from your clients. And it makes it not only easier to request the information, but what's really powerful is that it stores it on the actual work where your team is working, so everything's more organized. So the big changes we made to it are the ability to create these client task sections alongside your internal team tasks, which is great because it now gives you a more fully automated and visual workflow. And it helps streamline your process a little bit more. So let's talk about this, right? So you obviously have all the different request items that you send to your client. So maybe you're requesting bank statements for this monthly bookkeeping project, credit card statements and loan statements. And you can request all types of things, right? Documents, you can send documents, you can request e-signatures, you can ask questions, you can categorize transactions and so forth. And you can even send forms, whatever it may be. So once you've created the request item, you can send or schedule. So now it's visible here on the actual request item. You can choose who at the client you want to send the specific request list to. And then you can schedule it for a future date. You can send it immediately, or you can put a dependency, right? So maybe this won't make sense here, but we have another request list later, right, to send reports. You want to send this once your team completes reviewing the work. This will basically be scheduled to send once this section is completed. So that's pretty powerful. So there's a lot more automations built in now. And you have a little bit more customization. And then now the auto reminders exist over here. So you can have them follow up and remind and chase the client down every 4 days, so you don't have to chase the client yourself. And what's really cool with this new configuration is now you can have auto reminders for the scheduled reminders, the send, and the dependency. Previously, it was only for scheduling that automated reminders would work. But now if you send it manually, those auto reminders will activate and chase the client until they complete the work. Let's see. One really powerful thing too is this is something that a lot of our users were requesting is now that you can have the client task sections in this view, you can have multiple request items or request actions. So like, for example, you're going to request these statements at the beginning of the work. And now, as I showed earlier, you can also send a separate request later in the work. And not only can you send the two requests at different times, so the client will see this request item, but won't see this one until it's activated, but you can send it to different contacts of the client. So you could send this request list to Jordan, the requesting the documents, but you can send the reports for them to review to maybe Eric or a different person at the client, at the contact at the client. So they don't all, it's not a one all are one scenario anymore. Now you can choose who you want to send those to, which is a lot more powerful, built in a lot more automation, and gives you a lot more customization. So on the client side, so like again, when they'll get the request, they'll see the request items. When they click that, they get access to the portal, and then in here, it would take them straight to the request. They can view those items again, mark them completed, upload the documents you need, and then it'll come back here and be displayed in the actual project. So as your team's working, they can see, okay, the client said something here. What they say about this request item? Oh, I can now view that document they sent me. Let me view those bank statements. It's all organized right here in the same view. So your team has better visibility and nothing is forgotten. So that's one of the big new updates. Let me go to see if there's any questions. Yes, you can have sections dependent on each other. So that is this feature here. So like here we have it set up like this dependency. It's dependent on review the work. So once this section is completed, it will send this client request. You can't send smart questionnaires, but what we have a lot of people do is they'll securely, you could use this or send documents, right? Oh, no, sorry. You could use this one and customize it. So you could basically say, complete this online form, and you could complete form, change the button, and you could put like a Google form, a Cognito form, or other type of online form system that may have like logic into here. And then when you create that, so I'm just going to say .com for this. Once you create that, the client will then on their end see complete this online form. They'll see the button to complete the form if they want to complete it, and it will take them to that online form. So that's how you can do that. We don't have forms built in, but you can link in your other online forms. Michelle, it depends on your plan. So as if you're a solo or on the team plan, you will have ability to all these the custom task functionality. But if you're not on the scale plan, you won't have the automated reminders or the dependencies. So you will have some, if not all. So to send the report, Sarah, you would need to have them attached to the client task here. So you would attach them. Okay. So let's go on to the next another big recent update is the client chat. So not only did we update the client request feature on the client and the client experience there, but we also updated the way you can communicate with your clients. Because before it was just like a chat box where you can communicate with every contact. Now you have a client chat here, which is great because, and the reason we built this is we found a lot of firms are communicating with their clients through all these different channels, email, text, Slack, whatever, right? And it made it hard for you or even your team members to find that communication at a later point. So your team members are missing important context, which is resulting in mistakes on work or resulting in them having to look for this information, which wastes your time, their time, because they're asking questions and kills productivity. So now you can communicate with your clients on the work, which makes it easier again for your client, not only your team to find that communication, but your clients to know where to communicate with you. So when you click this client chat tab, you'll be able to see all the conversations with this client. You can see the conversations related to this work, But you can also see all conversations that are not even related to this work, because there's all these different topics, right? Random topics, general, monthly bookkeeping. And then you can see the conversations. You can ask your client questions about this topic, and they'll be able to respond to you. And what's really powerful with this new update is there's better user permissions around the chat. So when you're creating a topic, you can choose which contacts at the client you want to have access to the conversation, as well as which of your team members you want to have access to that conversation. So not every team member can view every conversation, and also not every contact at that client can view every conversation. You can have targeted and sensitive conversations with the people you want, and you create that topic, right? And then you can manage that here. So if you want to add more people, or you want to add more client contacts, you can do that here. So you can customize it and change it after the fact. But the core thing about this is really centralizing that communication. So as your team is working, they can see all the conversations with the client. You have that audit trail and everything you need right here. And you can search across all the topics, which is great, to find specific information or conversations. On the client side, they will now see a chat tab right here. And they can see when there's new messages, and they can respond to you through inside their portal. And so not only, again, does this centralize it for you as in your team and your firm, but it does for your client. So your client knows where to go to find all the conversations, and now they know where to go to find the requests. They know where to go to find the chats, the documents, transactions, which we'll talk about. So it's like a single source of truth for the clients. And when we release some of our other features like resources and billing, which I'll talk about, it really is going to create that single source of truth for your client. So let's go. Sean, let me know if that was, I showed the client side. Let me know if that was enough. So I showed the client side. So like if you like send a chat to your client, right, or a request, they're going to get something that looks like this, right? So this was like the client side, the email they get. But if it's a chat, they'll get a very similar email. They'll say like your firm sent you a message, click this button to view the message. So that's how it looks on the email. And then on the client side, again, they see it all in the portal. They can see all the different chats here. They can respond to you. They can even create new topics. And then they can view the requests here. So let me show you how the client creates a topic. Someone asked for that. So if your client has a new topic they want to talk to you about, they can create a new topic. What do you want to call it? Maybe they're asking about payroll. They can choose select who to message at your firm. So it have your firm's name here. So they might choose, let's just say Abdullah, right? Because they work with Abdullah a lot. And then who to include in this chat at their company. So this would be like their team members they want to include. It would just auto select them by default and create the topic. And they can ask like, hey, I have a question about payroll. And then on your end, sorry, lightheaded. On your end, well, so I didn't include myself in this chat, so I'm not going to be able to see it. Actually, I might because I'm an owner on the account. Let me see. Yes. So even though I wasn't included in this topic, I am an owner on the account. So as an owner, I can view all conversations by default. So you can see this is the question he sent me. And what's really cool too is on the client's profile, you also have this client chat tab where you can view all conversations as well. Okay, so let's talk about another big update. And this is one we haven't announced yet at all. This is actually just announced yesterday because it just went live on Monday. And it is our new template library. So we've had since the beginning, one of the most common questions we get from our firms is how are other firms doing this process? Whether it's in financial sense or not, or how can I maximize this accounting or bookkeeping or payroll or tax process, right? And they always want to know, like, is there better ways to do it? So we've decided to create a community-driven template library, right? And what I mean is it's not a paid marketplace. It's not a place where you have to buy templates. We wanted to create a template library where accountants can go and share their templates with each other, because the more processes you see, the more ideas and creativity you're going to have to improve your processes. Or if you like the template, you can easily add it to your account in seconds. I'm going to show you how that works. But like our goal here, again, is to create a library with thousands and thousands of templates for bookkeeping, accounting, for tax, whatever it is, right? And also even by industry, like templates for restaurants, how to do bookkeeping for e-commerce, right? So you can just really find any process you want to see and use it, or get ideas of how to improve your own. And we're big about community here. You know, we just released this Monday and we already have almost 50 templates in here, right? And our goal is to get to thousands of templates. So how it works is you can see all the top templates rated by downloads. So you can see like all these people that have already contributed. If you go into their click it, you can actually view the template, right? What does it look like? You can expand it and see subtasks if you want, and get an idea of like what the template's all about. There will be a description up here, some like, is it bookkeeping? It's a generic, so it's not industry specific. And it's a US based template. You can see some details like how many if it has automations or tasks or resources and client requests. So you can learn more about it. And it's really cool. So you can browse, you can search by like accounting or bookkeeping. And like, we're also like, it's a community, right? So like we have like our top workflow champions. So who has the most downloads, who's contributed the best templates. So like we're celebrating those people as well. And we're gonna be doing a lot around this. We're really excited. Like the biggest challenge for firms we find that are starting out is first defining the processes, but then that are already have processes, getting ideas on how to improve it. And this tackles all those challenges. And like the big thing about it is like, you got to give to get. So we'll talk about this. So this is live, right? So templates.financialsense.com. This is where you can go to this. You can't find this in your account yet. We will have a button in your account to get here so you can come, but this is live. So you guys can go here now. You can look at these templates and you can add them to your account. So actually, let me show you how that works. In this example, let's say you like this template, right? If you want to get it, if you're already logged into Financial Sense, you can get this template. You can see more details. You can choose if you want to import like the roles or the tax. Some people don't like to do that because it messes with their tax. And then I can click Add Template. And now in my account, I've got that template I was just viewing. It's that simple. Then you can customize it if you want, and whatnot. So that's how easy it is. Now, if you don't have a Financial Sense account, right, you can still view all these templates, but you'll need to start a trial, maybe 14-day trial, to access the templates and use them in our system. Okay, so let's see. Alan, what do you mean by topic? So it is indexed by like accounting, bookkeeping, tax, like advisory. So it will be, eventually it's going to be in the templates tab here. You'll see like a template libraries where you can access it. But right now it's just templates. So I can drop this in the chat. If you guys want to access the template library now, this is where you can access it. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say about this template library is, again, it's community driven. You don't have to pay for these templates, but if we really want to create a powerful library with thousands of templates, but not just 1,000 templates, but quality templates, everyone needs to help push this, right? Because no one's going to want to contribute value templates maybe they paid money for, or they spent a lot of time on building to create very good templates if other people aren't doing it. But if people are contributing openly their processes, other people are going to get value from that, and then they're also going to continue to contribute. We've already done a good job so far. Like we've already got like almost 50 here within like the first few days. But like we want to keep building on this momentum. The more you guys give, the more you're going to get back, right? So I want to talk about how you can actually share your templates to the library if you're interested, which I would highly recommend. So basically when you're inside Financial Sense, so like let's say you want to share a template. If you go to your templates, find the template you want to share, and you click share template up here. And when you click this, you can choose what to include on the template, like in automations, emails, task dependencies, resources. And then you'll select, if you want to share it to the library, click yes. And then here you can give it a name, what type of, is it like tax, what industry, it's generic, so there's no like client industry specific, and it's United States. And then give a little description. When you hit next, it's gonna come to me and I have to approve it, make sure it's not spam. I check it, make sure there's no sensitive information in there. But again, that's how you can share your templates. The share template button over here by clicking this. Highly recommend this. Like if we want to create something big here, if we all want to get value, we all need to contribute. The more you contribute, the more other people are going to contribute, the better the templates are going to be, the more value everyone's going to get. And we're all going to grow together. And that's what we believe here at Financial Sense. We're going to be doing a lot of events around this and really help build this up. But the goal is to just create the best template library in the accounting industry so you guys can all build better workflows and you can solve your biggest workflow challenges. Okay. I'm going to go into Q&A. Let's see. Request to specific one. Yeah, Marlene, you can already do that. So is there a plan to assign specific requests to specific persons from the client side? That's already possible. So inside Financial Sense, right? If you're like, you can have multiple requests. So I could assign this request to just Jordan at the firm, but I can assign this other request to just Eric, right? So you can send specific requests to specific people on the client side now with this update. Where do you find this type of templates? Okay. Let's now talk about another feature before we go on to like what's next for Financial Sense. So another really powerful feature we released over the last and a few months ago was recats. So what recats is it helps you manage your uncategorized transactions. We found a lot of firms struggle with managing their uncategorized transactions. It's time consuming. So you have to go to QBO, download a spreadsheet, send the spreadsheet to the client, then chase the client. And eventually when they send the spreadsheet back to you, if it's right, then you have to go back to QBO and update it. So we have a new feature called recats to help streamline and automate this process. So you can integrate with QuickBooks Online and then choose your uncategorized accounts and then import all those uncategorized transactions into Financial Sense, right? And when they're imported into Financial Sense, you can easily, because your client is already in our portal, right? You can easily just select the transactions you want to send to the client and then share them with the client. And then when you share those transactions with the client is going to be able to see them on this transaction tab, and they can tell you what the transaction is for. So maybe this was, I don't know, for a car wash. I don't know, right? And then once they've done that, they can also upload receipts, other comments, and then send it back to you. And then you're going to get notified. And once you view it in the system, you can approve it, all from within our system. And then when you approve it, it updates it in QBO with the context from the client and the documents they shared. So not only does it like streamline the process and make it easier, it also puts all that context in QBO very easily. So it just really makes that whole process and saves you time. And what's really cool too is you have client reminders, just like with the client requests. You can say, hey, I want to follow up with the client every 3 days until they tell me what these transactions are for. So I'll chase the client for you as well. And this is a cool new feature too. Like you can auto share. So let's say like because all these come in automatically from QBO. You could say automatically share all the transactions with the client, maybe on like, every 2 weeks on Monday, right? So you could do that. So you don't even have to send them to the client, and then you're just going to get notified when the client tells you what they're for. So this is a popular feature. Now this is an add-on. I think it's $5 a month per client that you use this with, but we are doing a special. And what that special is we're giving away for your first 5 recats free for 6 months, if you're interested in trying this out and seeing if it's something you want to use in your firm. Because a lot of you guys use spreadsheet, but this will save you time. And if you do get your first client free already, but if you want to get 5 clients free for 6 months, that is a special offer we're doing if you aren't using the feature already. And I'm going to drop in the chat how to take advantage of that. Is you'll want to reach out to George at financial-sense.com. So I dropped his email. So send that guy an email if you're interested in taking advantage of the recats offer I just talked about. So Roxanne, yes, we do actually plan to improve the overall template feature. There's something really cool we're going to be doing with that. And basically, you're going to be able to organize your templates by category. You can archive templates. So you can search templates. It's going to be a lot more easier to manage all the templates you have. Yes, Katie, we do plan to make some improvements like split transactions and vendors, as well as recats is still fairly new, but there's a lot of improvements coming. Don't have an update on Xero yet. We're still waiting on them to let us open the API. Okay, so now that we've talked a good bit about, let me see if there's any questions. So Linda, that's what I'll talk about. We do now support billing. So let's talk about the future. So let me take this share off. Let's talk about the future of Financial Sense. Like what's next? So we've done a really good job at workflow. We've built out the client portal to a degree, but we want to go deeper on that. But our ultimate goal is to create that all-in-one platform for you, right? Everything your team and your clients need in one place, that single source of truth for both the back and front office of your firm. And so, we have like the workflow, we have client portal, we have client management, we have document management. We're still going to be making improvements to a lot of these things, but one of the big pieces we're missing now is billing, right? Revenue operations. And that's what's going to be like so we're already actually in beta for billing, but we're planning to release it next week. So you can invoice and collect online payments from your clients. But it doesn't stop there, right? It's coming with a bunch of other really powerful features, like the ability to pass on credit card fees, proposals, be able to send proposals to your clients, right? And a lot of other like key functionality, better reporting, so around your billing as well. And why, right? Like, why do we want to build this all-in-one platform, right, for your firm and your clients? Well, one, on your firm size, it streamlines operations. So if you think about it, right, one platform for your firm means it's only one platform for new employees to learn. So it's easier to onboard new employees and train new employees. There's no more switching between different apps, which kills productivity and creates mistakes. All your data is in one platform, so you can get better reporting and more insightful reporting. And you save money, right? You consolidate your tech stack. You're paying less subscriptions. So that's a big part of it, because the billing and proposal feature, there's no extra subscription cost. It's included in your subscriptions. It's available on Solo, Team, and Scale. The only thing on the billing is, you pay the standard merchant fees, which is probably going to be cheaper than whatever you're paying now, right? In Financial Sense, or if not, match it. But it's not just about your internal team operations. It's also about your client side, your client experience. Your clients are already in our portal, right? They're already in here for the requests. They're already in here for the documents. They're already here for the communication. They're already here answering the transactions. And we're adding that resources tab where your clients can access all the resources. It makes sense to have the billing here, right? Because it's where they're already at. You want to create a single source of truth for your clients. You want to give them one portal to go to. You don't want to go to this portal for this and this portal for that, because that's where they get confused. That's where they stop answering your questions. That's where they stop doing what you need to do. So we want to create that single source of truth. It's going to help you get paid faster, but it's also going to provide a better experience for your clients and keep them happier. So billing has been in beta for the last week and a half. It's been going really well, and we're actually planning again to release it next week. And I want to show you what this looks like. So let me switch to a different account. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. Make sure you guys. Okay, perfect. So now inside Financial Sense, or when we go live, right? If you're in the beta, you already have access to this. You'll see a billing tab. And here in this billing tab, when you click it, you'll be able to see all the what stage all your invoices are in, right? By default. So how many are in draft, outstanding, paid, and what's overdue. Down here, you can view all your different invoices. You can filter by like one-time or recurring invoices or the date period or like status. And if you click it here, like you can actually view the actual invoice. And then also go to the clients tab to view all active or live invoices for that client and see their payment methods, right? So let's walk you through like how to actually create an invoice. So if you want to create an invoice for a client, you can click this create invoice button. You'll select the client you want to invoice. So let's say it's Adeline Collins. You can choose between one-time and recurring. So let's say recurring, right? Typically, most of you guys are billing your clients on the 1st of the month. Maybe you want to start, 1st of November, make it due upon the receipt of the invoice, and you can choose if you want when you want the recurrences to end. Now, what's really cool too is you can send the client an invoice via email, right? And if it's recurring, once you collect that payment method, it'll automatically save it, authorize it for future payments. Or you could, and then you could set reminders for the invoice as well, which that automates your accounts receivable, which is really powerful, right? Or if you already have a payment method on file, you can just use one of those payment methods. And then down here, you build your invoice, right? So we integrate with QBO to pull those service items. So let's say it's for bookkeeping, $500. Then you can add descriptions. And then you can, if you're auto charging, you can just go ahead and just charge the client because you already have their payment method. There's no reason to send them it'll send them the invoice that's paid, but there's no reason to request payment when you have the payment method on file. And now every month on the 1st, it's going to charge this payment method. But if you don't have it and you want to just send the invoice to a client, you can, before you send it, you can preview it. So here you can see what the email is going to look like to the client. You can see what the PDF invoice looks like. And you can see what the payment page is going to look like for the client. And you can customize the message that sends. Then you can either save the draft or schedule the invoice because this is going out for a future date. So you're actually scheduling it instead of just sending it. But yeah, it's that simple to invoice your clients. And again, what's really cool is we integrate with QuickBooks Online. So we will actually keep your invoices in sync so you don't have to worry about like double entry. So like if you create and send an invoice to a client, it's going to create that invoice in QBO. And when the client pays that invoice, it's going to mark the invoice paid in QBO. So it keeps it in sync with your accounting system, which is really important. Let's see. So let's see if there's any questions so far. So Sean, it doesn't include the proposal portion yet. I'll talk about that in a second. That's coming later this quarter. But if you're still interested in checking out the invoice beta, I can shoot me a message and I can give you access. So we do actually have an Anchor integration now. If you go to Anchor, there are help articles that shows you how to turn that integration on. You have to do it from the Anchor's end. So you can use Anchor's proposals with our system. So Denise, we don't have it live for Canada yet. Unfortunately, it's just for US right now, but we do plan to, or we are working on releasing for Canada soon. It might be next year, early next year though, but it is going to be possible for Canada in the near future. Proposals will be live later this year, hopefully. So it's not live yet, but it will be live later this year. Ross, you don't have customization yet on the invoices, but that will be possible soon. You can use any, we're using Rainforest to process the payments. So Rhonda, you can, I believe, import time from QBO, but right now you can't bill off time in our system. I'll talk about that. So right now you can create one-time and recurring invoices. And I talked about some of the other features like the QBO sync. But you can't bill off time tracked in our system or QBO just yet. And I'll show you something about that. It'll come in the currency. So right now we'll just have billing for US, so it'll just be US, but we will have that for Canada with the QBO sync. This feature is included. There's no extra cost for billing or proposals, right? It's included in your current subscription. The only cost is the merchant fees on the online payments, which you're already paying. So there's no extra cost. The solo, the team, and the scale all will have billing and proposals included. Okay, so real quick, I want to show you guys something. So something that we don't have yet, and you'll see this when you start, and when you get the billing tab, there's an unbilled tab. This is like your WIP tab. This is where you're going to be able to view all the time. So if I actually, let's, hold on, let me do this real quick. So like, this is what that's going to look like. Get started. So you'll be able to see all the time that hasn't been billed for, and then you'll be able to, and you can see the total time per client. You'll also be able to see fixed fee and expenses. So you can track not just unbilled time, but fixed fee and expenses. And you'll be able to select it for one or multiple clients and create all those invoices. So you could bulk create invoices based off time. This is coming in about a month, 4 to 6 weeks. So, but right now you can't bill off time tracked, but this was coming again very soon. And then you also we'll build on this with like staff and client utilization and WIP reporting. I want to make some time to talk about proposals. So let me show you guys kind of what the proposal feature is going to look like. So you'll be able to see all your proposals here, how much they're worth, the stages they're in, right? Let's walk you through proposal creation. So if you want to create a proposal, you can, select the client it's for, what's the name of the proposal, who's going to sign, the start date. You can include a video if you want, right? And then have like a customized message. Next, you'll select the services. So if you want to select like a one-time and recurring, you can put them all in here, set up the schedules, choose like the service items you want to add and how much it's going to be. So you can really just set all that up. Then you can hit continue. Then you'll want to turn on how you want them to pay. I'm running through this quick because we don't have a lot of time. And then require the payment details, hit continue. And then you can have your engagement, so your terms of service and everything. So and then before that, you can preview it before you send it. So you'll be able to see what it looks like. So let me show you the client side. So on the client side, they're going to get an email that looks kind of like this. Ask them to sign the proposal, and they'll be able to see the video and the introductory message, review the services and the cost, make payment, sign and agree to the terms. And you do not need Adobe Sign for this. It's going to have its own built-in signature, so they can agree to the terms and sign for it, and then accept. And then it takes them an introduction about how they can access their proposals in the portal. And that's kind of like a quick run through of how proposals is going to look. We're still working out a lot of the details, but that should give you an idea. So let me go to questions. We do plan to have international billing, but that will take some time. Invoices, we are working on text notifications for those as well, so you can help you get paid faster. There will be templates for both proposals and invoices, and you'll be able to customize them. Proposals will be available. So it's the same as billing. Like we plan to have everything available, right? At first it's going to be the US, but then we plan to add Canada. You will have the option to bulk create proposals. So what's really cool too, like if you're interested in invoicing in our system, this is going to be live in the next week. or two, we're going to have you the ability for you to import your invoices from QBO. So one of the biggest challenges we see is like making that transition. You want to move the billing, you want to keep it one platform, but finding the time. So with the QBO integration, you're going to be able to import all your potentially your outstanding invoices, right? And your recurring invoices into our system. It'll automatically recreate all the invoices in our system that are in QBO. So you don't have to do anything. Like you don't have to set it up in our system. It's just going to migrate everything over. And then you can turn them all on, and it will, if you want, it will delete the invoices in QBO and start them in our system. So you don't have any double billing. So it will seamlessly make that transition really easy. And we're also going to have the ability, like, you will be able to manually add the payment methods for your clients, but we'll have an option to select the clients that don't have payment methods, and you could request the payment methods from those clients really easily. So we'll send them just like our other notifications, like, hey, your firm's requesting this payment method. If they already use our portal, they'll recognize everything and they'll trust it. And then, because it'll say like you're making the switch. And then from there, what's going to happen, they'll just click the secure link, add their new payment method. It'll be associated with the account, and you can turn on the invoicing, especially like the recurring. So we plan to make this migration, especially if you're using QBO, very seamless and easy, so you don't have any problems switching. Okay. I think I need to go backstage, but we've run out of time. Thank you, everyone. If you guys have questions about billing, you want to be a part of the beta, I mean, it's going to be live next week anyways for everyone. Go chat our team, and they can answer them for you. But I hope you guys are excited for this. I'm really excited for billing. I'm really just creating an all-in-one platform for your firm and your clients. This is really the next stage for Financial Sense that we're really excited about. Until then, take care, everyone. See you guys around. Thanks for joining.